Hey guys, welcome back. I have a reading for you for the new moon. It's going to be for the current energies really. I hope you like my new setup. I'm back at home at the moment for a few weeks and I've got the nadi spread. So for those of you that don't know, I also call this the treble cross spread, and it's 3 crosses that represent the nadis of the body. So on this side we've got the divine masculine, or the solar nadi, which is called the pingala. On this side we've got the feminine, which is the lunar nadi, and it's called the ida in yoga. And this is the central nadi, which is the union, which is called the sushumna in yoga. And these nadis are basically channels, energy channels, sometimes also called subtle nerves, which everyone has in their bodies. And that's what the basically where all of these 3 nadis meet in the 7 points of the body along the spine. Those are the 7 major chakras in the body. So that's a little background on where the spread comes from, for those of you that don't know. Welcome if you're new, welcome to my existing subscribers as well. I'm so glad to be back. I haven't been able to do any readings because I was in India for a while, for those of you that don't know, but I'm back now for the next month or so. And for the next 2 weeks, I will be doing readings for the special price of $40 or £35 and 35 English pounds, and I'll be doing them for the next 2 weeks. So if you would like one, details are in the description box below. So let's carry on with the reading right now. Really interesting. If you haven't seen the last couple of channeled messages that I've done as well, please do check them out. The channeled messages, that was only about maybe 16 minutes long, that video. I thought it was really quite powerful. And also, whether you're in separation or you've been blocked, or if, whatever, do check out the other video as well, because there are channeled messages that are linked to what's going on right now there too. And again, they were really powerful. So, I'm not saying that to blow my own trumpet or whatever, but I really, was quite moved by doing the video. So I hope that you like them if you feel guided. If not, that's cool too. Let's carry on with the reading now. So on this side, divine masculine. It's also worth noting that normally I do it as kind of recent, past, present, future here for all of these 3 central columns. And then on the outside, it's an advice card. And on the inside, these cards reflect how the counterparts are relating to the union, how they're feeling about the union. In terms of timings, this time that everything is happening, it's all like happening at the same time, very much. Anyway, let's carry on. So divine masculine got, for the recent past position, even though they're all happening at the same time, seek. So this is the element, this is the card of the hermit. So if you wanna look at star signs, it's a Virgo energy, but what it really is kind of, they are actually looking within. And it's interesting because in terms of the central card, the present for them, they've got seek the truth, which is kind of similar to this. Well, it's meant to be the equivalent of the 7 of Swords. But if you think about the traditional tarot, the 7 of Swords is kind of almost a card of deception. But in this deck, it's about revealing the truth underneath that deception. And it's strange because for some people, the divine masculine was looking for the truth and thought that they found it, but they were deceiving themselves. And now they are coming to a stage, or they're at the stage already, where they're questioning their decision, a recent decision, or they're questioning what it is that they really want. And in terms of their near future, they've got this moving on card, which is like the 8 of Cups. But here, what I'm getting is that they are going to realise that they made a wrong decision and they're going to move away from that decision. But in terms of all of it happening right now, they were really looking for the truth and asking themselves whether they were actually deceiving themselves, and they're actually going to make real progress, and they are making real progress at the moment. So you know, this is there are three major arcanas in the cards that came out for the divine masculine. For the advice card, we've got flow, which is the Wheel of Fortune, this has always been a card of destiny points for me. So really, really important. And also guidance. I'm seeing a compass in the back. I'm seeing a compass behind this man. And that's basically saying divine guidance is what is really governing, guiding, and I want to say kind of almost pushing a little bit what is going on. The message that I've just got is that the oversoul of the divine masculine collective, whether they know it or not, is actually in control, and they are starting to trust things a lot more. How they feel towards the union, and this is the divine feminine, the divine counterpart, their twin flame. They're starting to trust, and even though, you know, usually I look at which way the people are actually facing in the cards, but this is all to do with him trusting his own heart. Look, this guy's holding his heart and he's facing himself. This woman is closing her eyes. They're both closing their eyes because they don't need to look without, they are looking within. And so, you know, every single person here in the major arcana, including the hermit here in the Seek card, and it's brilliant because they're looking upwards. They are also looking upwards towards this. If I quickly move the camera, you can actually see how he is looking towards, you know, this direction. She is looking towards this direction, and this guy is looking towards this direction, all with their eyes closed, of course, because it's what's within. It's all about uncovering what's within. So that's the huge theme for the divine masculine right now. Once that happens, they will be able to move forward on their journey, and it's very, very, very much, if you'll excuse the pun, it's on the cards. Like, I've been getting crazy synchronicities that they are that they're going to move on and actually return towards. Can you see how the man is also moving towards the union? He's actually walking in that direction. They're going to be moving back towards, they're actually coming back towards the union. That's just the way that things are right now. So really, really strong messages from there, strong messages. And it's very much, again, everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to happen, whether the divine masculine knows it or not. The oversoul is in control. The guidance is absolutely surrounding them, as I'm getting from these three major arcana cards that are surrounding the current situation. They will be shown the truth. They will actually face up to things that they haven't wanted to face up to before, certain ways that they were deceiving themselves, and certain things that they were too scared to face up to. They will face up to them now. Actually, the underlying cards, the underlying energy is also choose your battles. So that's kind of like part of this as well, because they are now feeling like they can choose to look at certain things that they were too afraid, or they felt too small or too weak to look at before, but they're being pushed to do it. They sort of have, the guidance is sort of giving them absolutely nowhere to go apart from a certain direction. So let's move on to the divine feminine. Some really interesting cards for the divine feminine, actually. I don't usually read reversals in this deck, but the two cards that came up were Share the Love, which is the equivalent of the Three of Cups, and the Five of Swords, which is challenging times. But they both came up this way up. And I turned them around the right way around, and then I was like, no, they're actually meant to be this way around. The Three of Cups is often a card of third-party situations in the traditional tarot. And that's what's part of the message that it's symbolizing in this reading as well, because it's those things are leaving the picture. So for many people, if they were with a karmic or a soulmate, they're leaving them. But for many, it's the karmic, the fact that if their partner is with a karmic or a soulmate and it bothered them, that's kind of leaving. And all of the conflict and kind of blocks that brought with it for the divine feminine, all of those challenging times are actually also going. So, and I'm really seeing that the fact that the guy has the shield in front of his body here, that is like a block, and that block is going. And if it made you feel resentful or overprotective or defensive, or like it made you feel weak, that's going. And there's a real strength of sense of strength that's coming up for the divine feminine. And I'm being shown this this heart as well in the middle, and it's kind of, the energy is breaking through and it's breaking free. It doesn't actually matter that the hand is upside down. I'm actually seeing it upside down, like it's meant to be upside down. It's almost like someone is, you know, showing, it's like divine guidance is showing its right hand, which is the hand of giving. Like in the Indian subcontinent, whether, you know, whatever your religious heritage is, you always give with your right hand, because that's a hand of giving, and it's the hand of purity. It's also the hand of, you know, the masculine side, the right, which is the active hand that kind of goes after things. And traditionally, when you give a blessing as well, it's like with your right hand. And this is showing to me very clearly, it's like an ascended master or something, or part of the guide team, the divine, the universe, blessing the divine feminine. So can you really see that from this picture? It's like coming forward as a blessing. And the heart of the divine feminine is, and it's almost like this heart is symbolizing the divine feminine. And there's so much light inside her that it's causing, you know, it's almost like a molting. You know, like lobsters. Is it lobsters that they molt? And I don't know, like dragonflies or something. Like they molt, and they many animals do it. And when they do, they kind of break through their kind of exoskeleton or whatever. And that's kind of like what's been happening for many people. It's almost like they feel like they're being, a sense of being reborn and renewed and bigger and stronger and just a better version of themselves, and a lot freer than what they were feeling before. Again, all of these things are kind of happening simultaneously, and I especially get that from the divine feminine. For their current position, even though it's all happening at the same time, they've got this, which is new vitality. It's the Ace of Wands. It's the Ace of Wands. It's so colourful, it's so joyful, it's so creative and just magical and whimsical in this deck. And what I'm really getting is the divine feminine is going to create what she wants in a way that she hasn't done for a long time. Perhaps she never even has before. And she's going to create something that she's going to enjoy creating for herself, but also so many other people are going to enjoy, and it's just going to spread so much colour and beauty and magic in the world. So only good things can come from it. So whatever you're guided to do go for it. But it might be a bit shocking, it might be a bit radical, it might be revolutionary, very different, and it might be really scary for you to do, because this is rebuild, this is the equivalent of the Tower. But just remember that this is, and I rarely see this lady herself as an angel, but this is very much kind of, the divine feminine is really stepping into her own kind of angelic being, and really going to strongly connect with the higher dimensions of her own self, and also the community as well. So it's really interesting, because again, she's gonna not have a choice in this happening. I'm seeing the sun, there's going to be some solar eclipses coming up, and that's going to activate her massively. And again, it's like the heart, things are just, it's almost like the same thing getting mirrored, like I said about the heart kind of bursting open in a way that it hasn't before, and that being a blessing. I'm seeing all of that reflected in this card, and it's like I'm seeing that all of the lightning, all of the intensity that has happened and is happening, this is all actually building her up. I'm actually seeing that this is what's created her, and these things are actually getting put in place, not broken down by this lightning. So, and look at how completely, she's just really receptive. This lady is receiving all of this energy and using it to make her stronger, and that is kind of the energy that a lot of divine feminines right now are going to be encouraged and really guided to embody. So being ultra receptive and almost kind of making really good use of every energy that comes to them, like transmuting it for their own growth and their own benefit. And not to make them sound like mercenaries or anything like that, it's just in the sense that whatever happens, they'll make it work for them. And that's the kind of resourcefulness that I'm seeing from this kind of creativity. For those of you that remember that I was in Japan for a job, and I was reading a lot about business and stuff, and so many of those really successful entrepreneurs, there's no coincidence that entrepreneurial people tend to be really into self-development as well, because they have to overcome so many difficulties on such a regular kind of basis that there is so much overlap in the self-improvement kind of world and self-help world, and also really successful business people. And that's kind of what I'm seeing from those two cards, especially New Vitality and Rebuild. It's a real sense of resourcefulness, of strength, of energy, of creativity, and of just capability. It's all really, I get such a good feeling when I see it. And again, choose your battles. I'm seeing that reflected in the challenging times as well as the Rebuild and the New Vitality. It's really a sense of being able to handle things that in a completely different way. Like, there has now been a path that is visible for the Divine Feminine where it was never visible before. And it's for many of them, it's happened quite effortlessly, surprisingly so. But if it hasn't, that's fine as well, because everyone's on their own path. But just know that with all the energies that are going to come in with the eclipse season, it's always a powerful time for twin flames. Those of you who have been on this journey for more than a year will know that and definitely feel it. But the 13th of July, I believe that there is going to be an eclipse, a partial eclipse in the sign of Cancer. 27th of July, there is a huge full solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. And then there's going to be the Lionsgate portal as well in August. So that's eclipse season. Prepare for the energies to be really high for all of us. But know that it's your time, Divine Feminine, to really create what it is that you want. And remember to use all of those energies, absorb them, and use your feminine power. And when I say feminine, it's not to do with the gender, it's to do with the polarity. To really absorb them and transmute them and own them in many ways. Okay, so what is the advice for you? The advice we have is dreams coming true, which is like the 9 of Cups, and root chakra, Muladhara chakra. So advice-wise, you have to really believe that your dreams are a possibility. It's possible for your dreams to come true, and you have to ground them into reality. So you have to get really practical about how you're going to make those things happen. And also, I'm feeling many of you, you do need to ground. Loads of you guys do actually need to ground. Many of you have done a very good job of it, but create that stability to get rid of any kind of fear, any loose ends that are affecting your, just how you kind of live your everyday life, really. They need to be sorted out. So get into a position of as much stability as possible. And I'm also hearing discipline, I'm hearing routines, I'm hearing you need to get a system. You need to find a system, a way of organizing your life that's going to help you build up. I'm also getting, many of you, you need to start thinking about one specific spiritual practice that you need to do every single day, every day, if not twice a day. For some people, it can be really simple, like something that you find on YouTube or on the internet, or somebody tells you about that you trust. For other people, you will be very guided to look for literally a really high level or a more high level master than you, someone who you think can be almost like a guru, if not a sadguru. Some of you will want to restart practices that you have let kind of got a bit lax with, and that's going to be really, really, really helpful. In fact, that's going to be like the game changer for so many people. The time is right for you guys to actually take that on. Many people maybe were feeling a little bit distracted and let other things distract them because, you know, it might have seemed like a little bit boring or a little bit... Sometimes you think that these things aren't helping and you take them for granted. I certainly did. I can talk about that if you want to hear me talk about it and how I realised how much that stopping doing my practice had a bad effect in my life and I didn't actually realise it. Listen to the long kind of talk and channeled message that I did a week ago on the 21st for the solstice, because that will really, really cast a lot of light on it for you. And if you do feel guided, it might encourage you to kind of find your own practice and stick with it as well, because that is what is going to help your dreams come true. It's going to give you the energy, it's going to give you the clarity, it's going to give you the grounding and the foundation. It's literally going to provide that foundation that you need, because whatever you do, you need a good foundation to do it. And it's also going to provide a good foundation, I've just heard, for the twin flame union, or if you're choosing to go with a soulmate union as well, but it will make it happen in the best possible way with a lot more ease. So lots of messages there from those two advice cards. It's a very, very powerful time for the divine feminine and the divine masculine too. It's just the divine masculine is kind of being guided in a way where he's not really got that much choice. In fact, he might be feeling very pressured by himself and by his surroundings at the moment, but the guides literally are not going to let him do whatever he wants and carry on the way that he's been carrying on. He's going to have to literally, I'm seeing, make maybe 2 decisions, but even out those 2 decisions, he's actually only got one, really, because a certain outcome is going to happen and the oversoul is in control for him. So for the divine feminine, it's much more open. You have the freedom you are going to feel, especially right now, very free, like a massive burden has been taken away from you. And if you haven't already started feeling that, it's going to be available for you in the future, in the very, very near future. But what it is you might have felt that you were powerless to do things before, and you didn't have any options because all you could do was sit there and wait for the divine masculine and not do anything yourself. But that is what's changed. You've now got this new vitality to rebuild yourself, and that might have come through something that felt like a bit of a calamity, but it's literally going to be the making of you. This is kind of almost like a clearance, like to build something new, but it's you choosing what you want to build. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're not feeling like a victim at all, is what I'm getting. How are you feeling towards the union? You've got 2 Pentacles cards, you've got awaiting results, and you've got well-deserved rewards. So what I'm getting for this is many of you are going to create your own rewards. You're going to create your own rewards. You are going to wait and see. Many of you can actually just park the whole expectations and stuff that you have with the twin flame union, whatever that may be. If you're in union at the moment, you're dropping the pressure and the expectations. If you're not in union at the moment, you are considering, looking elsewhere, and that's absolutely fine in a way that maybe you weren't before. Or if you're not looking elsewhere, you're fine to absolutely allow the divine masculine and the union to unfold however it's going to unfold, in a way that you weren't before, in a level that you weren't able to before. And the well-deserved reward is basically the divine feminine is really, really ready to receive. It's all about being receptive, taking center stage, putting themselves first. If you can see from the picture, the guy is standing there all by himself on the podium, and the focus, can you see he's almost in crosshairs? is all on him. And again, I'm seeing a parallel with the compass behind this guy, and he's holding on to his heart because that's what's kind of guiding him. So divine feminine, you actually live in the divine masculine's heart in many ways, no matter what's going on and no matter what you choose. So even if you're deciding to go with a soulmate or a karmic yourself, date other people, whatever, it doesn't matter, because you're still in their heart. And the focus, by you putting the focus on yourself, it's going to, weirdly enough, increase their focus on you as well. But that's not why you should do it. You should do it, and you will do it just because that's what you want to do. Because it's time for you to build your own life, to build your own foundation, and to really allow your dreams to come true. And not just wait for them to happen, but do it yourself. So in terms of where the union was before, we've got open up. So it's the four of Pentacles. And there was a lot of closed energy and what's the word I'm looking for? Clinginess. It's almost like this is the card of clinginess and codependency, and that's kind of really contrasted beautifully with what we've got here, which is just detach. And it's the number 11 card, and it's very much kind of this lady letting this bird free, because the bird is meant to fly. It's not meant to be, it's not designed to be held and gripped and stifled. So it's very much about freedom. There's a lot of freedom that I see, especially for the divine feminine, She's let go of so many burdens, and it's beautiful to see this happen. And it's going to lead to another new beginning, which is this Ace of Swords, clarity of belief. And this is transformation because of the little butterfly here. And again, this guy has got his eyes closed, and it's really a surrender of, especially the divine masculine I'm getting. And they are going to accept a lot of truths about themselves. And again, you can see there's a mirroring of this guy here with his hand on his heart, his arm outstretched. Here the arm is touching the water, so it's him getting in touch with his emotions. Here, because this is an air card, it's him getting in touch. The hand is in the air because it's him getting in touch with his mind. But the mind and the emotions, you know, in yoga, they're pretty much connected. Where the mind goes, the emotions will eventually follow. So, and vice versa. But what I'm really feeling is a real sense of everything's on track with this reading, and there's a lot of freedom. It's all about kind of the truth. It's all about the truth for the divine masculine, and also in terms of the union. And the divine feminine has to follow the truth and almost create her own truth, like really decide what it is that she truly wants to do, and then do something, take action. The divine feminine has to take action. The divine masculine has to discover and realize certain things in his conscious mind. I'm also getting that it's going to be okay because everything is going to happen according to what the oversoul is planning. So it's all good, basically. It's really all good. I'm just going to see if there's any other... And again, the underlying energy is choose your battles. And it's very much a case of both the divine masculine and the divine feminine really kind of knowing what action to take, what they can and can't do, and choosing your battles. It's when it says choice, this is the last thing that I wanted to mention. Choice is all about reacting to something consciously as opposed to just a mindless reaction, like a knee-jerk reaction, which is kind of what people do without thinking and just because they panic. But that's not what it's about. So it's really about finding the balance and stability, which is what I've been talking about a lot in my videos, because that's something that I've found and regained in my life in a big way since I've restarted my own yoga practice and yoga and meditation practice. There was a specific one which I just stopped doing for a really long time, and I talk about that in the long video. So, you know, I do recommend you guys listen to it if you have a spare hour. But yes, it's about doing things how you choose, not being a victim of your emotions, a victim of your mind, a victim of your fears and ego, because it's very easy to do that, and it's only through certain spiritual practices that you can gain that clarity and stability. And that comes from being able to actually separate but not compartmentalize your emotions, your mind, and your physical body as well, and your energies. And the more you do certain very, very specific yogic practices, authentic yogic practices and meditation practices, and it tends to be the ancient ones that work in terms of this, rather than the modern ones, which maybe, you know, I've never really found them to be that effective, but the ancient ones I can definitely vouch for, because they have a lot to offer. That's why they've stood the test of time. So when that happens, it really gives you the ability to choose your battles and act how you want in those battles as well, and really create what you want. So I'm going to do another video and put up a free Kriya, which is like an inner energy process. It's like a guided meditation. It's 12 to 18 minutes a day. It's totally free. And it's really, really powerful. It's really, really simple, and it works. And you can get guided email support for it as well. You just have to do it for 40 days to really, really, really see the benefits. And I strongly urge everyone to do it. I'm going to put up the video over the next couple of days for that. So keep an eye out. Divine Feminine, one last message for you. We got this Shine card, and it's all about, again, you know, this eclipse season is going to be a wonderful time for you to really jump into. And I'm seeing how the Divine Masculine is jumping within into himself. You need to jump without into the world and shine your light out into the world. That will happen once you really embody this new vitality and figure out what it is that you want to offer, what's in your heart, what do you want to offer. It could either be to the wider community, or it can be to a soulmate, it can be to a specific person, it could be to yourself. But what do you have to really genuinely offer? And if you're in a twin flame union already, it could be to the twin flame. But it's all about an offering. It's not forcing anything on anyone. It's you having a good time, and that good time and good vibes just kind of overflowing to everybody else, basically. I'm seeing so much, the possibility of so much good stuff in the future, so much joy for the Divine Feminine, so much realization, so many realizations for the Divine Masculine. But the scales have kind of moved. I'm seeing maybe some shocks for the Divine Masculine. And a few of them are going to have some unpleasant times, like it's going to be a little bit difficult for them. There might be a little bit of sadness, but for the Divine Feminine, if you choose to kind of go with things, there is a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, and a lot of, even this rebuilding, this tower energy, it's going to be exhilarating for some of you. So get ready to receive things, because it will, for some of you, the tower is going to clear the way, rather shockingly, for good things to come. So the more you can go with it, the better, because yeah, it's all about you getting ready to shine this eclipse season. Okay guys, my lovely twins, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will be back very soon for some more readings and some more videos as well. Keep an eye out for the Kriya video, and do check out the other stuff that I've done as well recently if you are so inclined. Okay, good to be back. Love you guys loads, and I wish you all the very best. Bye, until next time.